Under the bright lights of Gainbridge Fieldhouse, Alicia Gray turned away from the action on the court and locked eyes with someone in the stands. Her finger shot out like an accusation, her face tight with frustration. Almost instantly, security hustled over, shuffling toward the Indiana Fever fan section. A couple stood, bewildered, as if unsure what crime they had committed. The cameras caught the confusion, then cut away, leaving viewers at home with more questions than answers. For a moment, it looked like something explosive had happened. But within hours, the story began to crumble. Alicia Gray, the face of Atlanta's frustration that night, had pointed at fans and demanded action. The Dream spun the narrative quickly. Their star had been disrespected. Their team had been wronged. Yet almost as fast, cracks appeared in the story. The couple removed from their seats didn't stay gone. Security brought them back later, apologized, and let them resume watching the game. Eyewitnesses near the incident insisted nothing more was shouted than a harmless line of encouragement to Lexie Hull. "You're good, Lex. She's not even trying anymore." That was it. Not a slur. Not a threat. Just a typical dose of playoff heckling, and that's what made the whole episode sting for Atlanta. Because in the heat of the game, when the Dream needed their focus to be on the Fever, their star instead made herself the story. Gray's gesture to the stands backfired spectacularly, painting her as thin-skinned in the middle of a playoff atmosphere where intensity and resilience are expected. Fans who had been escorted out returned smiling, while the Dream's credibility slipped away in real time. It was the kind of narrative collapse that feels impossible to recover from. The more the story spread on social media, the more it became clear what really happened. Alicia Gray had a bad night and decided to take it out on the crowd. By the following morning, the entire ordeal was labeled for what it was, an overreaction that exposed Atlanta as rattled and distracted. Clips of the ejection circulated everywhere. Commentators struggled to piece together why something so trivial had spiraled into such a spectacle. Indiana fans called it a joke, pointing out that security doesn't let people waltz back to their seats if they had said anything remotely serious. Instead of sympathy, the Dream found themselves mocked, with fans branding the incident as a hoax designed to shift attention away from a team that had been thoroughly outplayed, and that's where the contrast could not have been sharper. While Gray was pointing at fans, Indiana was pointing to the scoreboard. While Atlanta scrambled to spin a story, the Fever were spinning history. That night wasn't just about winning a playoff game. It was about ending nearly a decade of frustration, snapping a postseason drought, and doing it with half their rotation in street clothes. Think about what Indiana was facing. Caitlin Clark had been ruled out for the season. Sophie Cunningham was unavailable. Sydney Colson, Chloe Bibby, and Arie McDonald were all sidelined. On paper, it looked like a recipe for disaster. Most franchises would have walked into Gainbridge Fieldhouse with heavy hearts and low expectations. But Indiana flipped the script. Instead of folding, they embraced the adversity. And the fans? They roared louder than ever. Inside that arena, you could feel it. Red shirts reading "Now You Know" filled the lower sections, amplifying every defensive stand. The Fever hadn't hosted a playoff game since 2016, when Tamika Catchings was still suiting up. The city had been starving for this moment, and they let everyone know it. From the first whistle, the noise was deafening. The crowd wasn't just reacting, they were participating, lifting the Fever every time the Dream threatened to rally. Stephanie White had demanded desperation after a lackluster Game 1, and her players delivered. Every 50-50 ball was fought for. Every defensive rebound was contested. The body language screamed urgency. Instead of one star trying to shoulder the load, Indiana operated as a unit. Aaliyah Boston muscled her way to critical buckets in the paint. Kelsey Mitchell, calm under pressure, punished Atlanta's defense with 4 dagger threes on her way to 19 points. Natasha Howard chipped in with defense and hustle plays that didn't always make the highlight reel, but shaped the flow of the game. And Lexie Hull? She became the embodiment of Indiana's resilience, diving for loose balls, hitting a buzzer-beating 3 to blow the game wide open, and defending Gray with relentless energy. The turning point came late in the third quarter. Boston scored inside with authority. On the very next possession, Petty jumped a passing lane and stole the ball. Seconds later, Hull buried that deep 3 at the buzzer, sending the crowd into chaos. In a blink, the Fever had stretched the lead and Atlanta's spirit broke. From there, it wasn't just a game, it was a statement. By the time the final horn sounded, the scoreboard read 77-60. The Fever had turned what should have been a crushing blow the absence of their superstar, into one of the most uplifting wins in franchise history. They didn't just survive without Caitlin Clark, they thrived, showing a level of toughness and cohesion that left no doubt about their potential. And the irony? Alicia Gray's outburst only magnified the difference between these two teams. Atlanta's narrative collapsed, their excuses shredded under the weight of the truth. Indiana's story soared, powered by unity, heart, and the belief that adversity can forge champions. Now, everything shifts to Atlanta for a decisive Game 3. For the Dream, it's desperation. For the Fever, it's opportunity. They've already proven they can win without Clark, already shown the league they're not just a rebuilding project, they're a playoff force. The question is whether that same suffocating defense, that same balance of scoring, and that same fire can travel on the road. Kelsey Mitchell will need to shoulder the offense again. Alia Boston will have to battle in the paint against a dream team desperate to erase their humiliation. And the role players, Hull, Howard, Timpson, must replicate the poise they showed in Game 2. Because make no mistake, Atlanta won't come out timid. They'll come out swinging, fueled by embarrassment and home court energy. Indiana's challenge will be to weather the storm and impose their own will early, just as they did in front of their home fans. But even if you strip away the X's and O's, what lingers is something deeper. Indiana has shown the league what character looks like. They've proven that resilience isn't just a word. It's a choice, made possession by possession, even when everything feels stacked against you. That's why this story matters. Not because of Alicia Gray's finger-pointing. Not because of a fan ejection that fizzled into nothing. But because on the same night Atlanta lost their composure, Indiana found their identity. And in the playoffs, identity is everything. Game 3 in Atlanta isn't just a fight for survival. It's a chance for the Fever to cement themselves as a franchise on the rise, one that refuses to bow to adversity and refuses to be defined by setbacks. They've already silenced the noise once. Now the question is whether they can do it again when the entire season comes down to 40 minutes. So what do you think? Can the Fever take this energy on the road and finish the job in Atlanta? Or will the Dream find redemption in front of their own fans? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you've got the Fever, let us know by typing, "I've got the Fever." Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss the next chapter in this incredible playoff run.